What's good, peeps? Thanks as always for passing by the channel. Much appreciated. Hit that subscribe button if you guys are new. All right, let's do this. Lots of boxing results and information to go over. This is This Week in Boxing, episode 13, I think. Let's go over to Japan first for the World Boxing Super Series final. Inoue got the job done against Danair in what I thought was fight of the year. Classic. If you haven't seen it, what are you doing? What are you doing? It's on YouTube now. Go and watch it. No excuses. It's a fantastic fight between the new guard, if you like it, Inoue, and the old guard in Danair, who proved there is a lot left. I hope he doesn't retire off the back of that. But Inoue got the job done. He's now the World Boxing Super Series bantamweight champion. He's the WBA and IBF and ring recognized #1 at bantamweight as well. So it'll be interesting to see what happens next with him. Rigondeaux has called him out. Not sure about Rigondeaux. Looked bad in his last fight. Came back, was losing that fight, and then got the stoppage, I think, result in the end. So he stoppage win in the end. And he'll be coming back down in weight as well. That would have been a fantastic fight. The Rigondeaux 4 years ago versus the Inoue now. That'd have been special, but now I'm not quite sure. But it'll be interesting to see what happens. Inoue's obviously signed this deal with Top Rank. His first fight will be in America, they're saying. March they had scheduled, I think, but I don't know. With him, remember, Inoue said, I think it's reported after the fight, that he broke his right orbital bone, but continued. So he might be out for a long time in 2020. So I don't expect to see Inoue back in the ring until the back end of 2020, maybe this time next year. But regardless, he has signed a long-term deal with Top Rank. I think they should keep him in Japan. I don't know why they want to bring him to the US. I think that's a market that needs to be opened. I don't think it's fully open there yet, and I think Inoue can definitely do it. So keep him in Japan. His brother also fought on the card, Takumi Inoue. He lost to Nordine Ubali while challenging for the WBC bantamweight strap. This might make me understand a bit more as to why Inoue refused the diamond belt, the WBC diamond belt. Cali Sauerland tried to give it to him and he refused it. A lot of people are saying he refused it because he doesn't like all these belts. I think he refused it because his brother got beat for the WBC bantamweight title, and now he's saying he wants to avenge his brother's loss. That's probably why he refused it. Over to America, Top Rank put on a card in Fresno, California, which was head by Jamel Herring, defending his WBO super featherweight strap against the previously unbeaten Lamont Rose. Scorecards 117-111 twice and 115-113. So that was the first defense of his belt. You look around that division, who's available, and you look at Miguel Bichel, who beat Jason Sosa last weekend. That could be a good unification class, or he could move up. A lot of people are jumping weight classes. Gervonta Davis has done it. He is a big guy, is Jamel Herring, so he might move up in weight and chase those fights. On the undercard of that was Kubrat Pulev's return to the ring. He beat Radel Booker in a 10-rounder, scorecards 98-92 twice and 91-97, or sorry, 97-91. Radel Booker's pretty decent. I didn't think that was going to be an easy fight for Kubrat Pulev. He's been out of the ring quite a while since that issue with that female reporter. He is 38 as well now, so I do wonder what they're going to do with him. He is, I think, mandatory for the IBF belt, which is obviously held by Andy Ruiz right now. So I wonder if all those belts are going to just become sort of vacated by whoever wins between Ruiz and Joshua. Because we're hearing that the WBO could become vacant, because that's Usyk and the IBF is Pulev, and those aren't big money fights. Especially not in America, it's not a big money fight. The big money fight is Deontay Wilder. Over to LA, the Staples Center, Devin Haney defended his WBC lightweight strap for the first time. Remember, this is the belt that was upgraded to him. He was the interim champion. He beat Alfredo Santiago, the unbeaten Alfredo Santiago from Dominica. Dropped him in the 5th round, scorecards 120-107 across the board. I have watched it. I didn't think it was a great performance from Devin Haney. It was an okay performance. I guess when you're fighting unbeaten guys, they do come with their own threat, right? They don't think they can lose, but it wasn't the best performance. He said that he might have dislocated his shoulder in, I think, the 5th or the 6th round, which probably, I don't know if that's an excuse, but it wasn't the best performance. But nonetheless, he did win every single round, did drop him as well, and he'll look for bigger and better things starting in 2020. Maybe Luke Campbell. He's called out Gervonta Davis, Ryan Garcia. So those are the names he's looking for. But obviously, what he really wants is Vasyl Lomachenko. Devin Haney can't beat Vasyl Lomachenko. He can't. I'm not just basing that off this performance. This is me basing that off all his performances and all of Loma's performances. Can't beat him. Yes, I get that he's got power and all that kind of stuff, but he's not beating Lomachenko yet. So I think they should look for another avenue. Joe Saunders also on that card. He beat Caceres, stopped him in the 11th round, dropped him 3 times. That I think the first knockdown, the uppercut was beautiful. Apart from that, it was an awful performance. Let's be honest, people. It was a bad performance. Yeah. And I've said this about Billy Joe Saunders because there is this thing, and I don't know if it's us British fans. I don't think American fans, maybe they don't really know him, but us British fans, we really do look at Billy Joe Saunders as the second coming of something. I mean, everyone always says, oh, he has the style to beat Canelo. Oh, he has the style to beat GGG. I don't know what you're seeing. I mean, I think he's a good boxer. I do. And I think when he turns it on, he's clearly got skills, right? Good amateur record, unbeaten so far. But I don't know what you're basing this on. And this is what I've always asked people, and no one seems to come with a concrete answer. Are you basing the fact that he can beat GGG and Canelo and everyone else in the division on the fact that he beat David Lemieux, Andy Lee, and Chris Eubank Jr.? There's levels to this boxing game. And I think people have really got to start to understand that there are severe levels. I mean, you can jump up half a level and you're fucking in deep waters. And I've got to see Billy Joe Saunders against someone before I start saying he can beat Canelo because he has the style to beat Canelo. Like Canelo's not faced every fucking style. What style has Canelo not faced that I need to know that Billy Joe Saunders has? I don't know. And this is not a dig at Billy Joe Saunders, by the way. I think it's a good fight about. I think people should calm down a little bit. They really should. Obviously, that card was headlined. I've not even written this down, by the way. I'm just saying this bit. This what's coming up next. Headlined by KSI versus Logan Paul. I'm not going to do a video about it. People have asked for a video. Why are you asking for a video on that? No. That fight's going to do amazing numbers, by the way. So this isn't about the fight. This is about the numbers. I did a video talking about the fact that they have this amazing or massive subscriber base, right? Not just subscriber base, but their social media is huge. And if a fraction, just a fraction, less than 1% tune in, it's going to be crazy. And then I thought, it's not just them. They also have these YouTube buddies. Like, it's almost like they are literally, just KSI and Logan, literally have every famous YouTuber under 25 as friends. So not only does Logan Paul have 20 million subscribers, his friends or the people he hangs around with seem to have like 15 and 10. And it's ridiculous. I mean, Justin Bieber was in his changing room. I saw a photo of them like doing a prayer. Guys, it's going to do unbelievable numbers. Unbelievable numbers. Their guarantee was $900,000 each, and I think a lot of people thought that's what they're going to get paid. No. They're creaming. They're creaming. I'm not joking. If you guys have seen it, I mean, even if you've tried to avoid it, I mean, it's impossible to even avoid. The hype for it was impossible. You haven't seen hype like this for a long time. Maybe not since Mayweather-McGregor. Mayweather-McGregor had something similar. They're going to get paid. People were laughing at me when I said they're going to get paid 15 to 20 million. Don't laugh, people. Don't laugh. All right, York Hall. MTK put on a show, York Hall, Bethnal Green. I believe Clarissa Shields was in attendance, which is good. All right. They had a couple of title fights there. Danny Dignam beat Conrad Cummins, 5th round stoppage. I think that's Conrad Cummins' first time being stopped within the distance, which isn't good. He's now the WBO European middleweight champion. So good things expected of Danny Dignam. Wins for Liam Walsh as well. He beat Maxie Hughes. He's now the WBO European champion. Chantel Cameron. That's the girl that everyone thinks, I think this is the girl that everyone thinks would cause Katie Taylor problems. Anyway, she beat Anaya Estas Sanchez. Another guy on the card, Dan Aziz, got a win, stays unbeaten. Dan Aziz, light heavyweight, I think, stays unbeaten. He fought a guy that was bad record. I think it was something like 6-29. I don't know. I think that's it. There were loads more boxing results, but again, it's just too much to go for. I mean, you guys can check out the results on BoxRec or Boxing Scene or something. Sad news to start with. It's always sad when we have to talk about a death in boxing, but there was one, unfortunately. This one, slightly different, slightly weird and strange, but nonetheless a death in boxing. Dwight Ritchie, a boxer from Australia, died after being hit with a body shot and sparring by Michael Zarafa. Yeah, body shot. So Zarafa, this is the accounts that I'm reading online. Zarafa hit him with a body shot. He went back to the corner, grimacing, then collapsed and died. I mean, fucking hell. That's just a freak, right? It's just a freak accident. I don't know how Zarafa's going to feel. Obviously, he's got a fight coming up. I don't know if he has to then maybe put that fight on hold. I'm not quite sure. But sad news, and thoughts and prayers go out to his family and friends. A lot of talk last week. I made a video about it. But a lot of talk as well about the possibility of Andre Ward versus Canelo. Obviously, with Canelo beating Kovalev and Andre Ward retiring on the back of 2 back-to-back wins over Kovalev. There's a lot of talk about maybe it happening at 175. Andre Ward has come out and said that a load of people have reached out to him in the boxing world and the celebrity world. Loads of people that want to put the back end behind this fight. But Andre Ward said he's not doing it. He's sticking to the announcement that he said he was going to do, which is not come out of retirement, sorry. Made that in 2017. He says he thinks he's more important now rather than being a boxer to his family, church, and obviously what he does in the boxing world, being a reporter and a commentator, and I agree with him. Although I'd like to see it, I do think it's good when boxers stay retired, right? You retire for a reason, and us fans and media trying to get you out of retirement all the time. Something bad happens when you do come back and fight, we simply forget you. So good decision by Andre Ward. Let's see if he sticks to it, because I know there are going to be some big checks thrown his way. Someone that Andre Ward works with on the ESPN telecast, Timothy Bradley, went in on Gervonta Davis. I wonder if Gervonta Davis was a ESPN fighter, he would have gone in as much. But nonetheless, Timothy Bradley went in saying that Gervonta Davis has been fighting Uber drivers recently. I like Timothy Bradley's passion when he says these things. He genuinely means them. Timothy Bradley is, I think, the biggest fan of boxing commentating. He literally commentates like a fan, like what we would do, and just says it how it is. No filter. Gervonta Davis obviously got upset and started saying some, I think, stupid things on social media, like, basically, who are you? What have you done? Who are you fighting at my age? I'm going to be richer than you and more popular than you. Things that I don't think make any sense personally. I mean, the richer and popular one. And then he said something like, it's always these old people that chat shit about young people, not realizing that Gervonta Davis' next guy is Gamboa, who's actually older than Timothy Bradley. So yeah, interesting with Gervonta Davis. Gervonta Davis and even Devin Haney have had words recently as well. Gervonta Davis said Devin Haney shouldn't feel like a champion until he really wins the belt. Obviously, Devin Haney won a fight with the belt yesterday, so I wonder if he's now feeling as a world champion or not. We don't know. A fight that was announced, and I think a fight that's going to be a fantastic fight. Tony Harrison versus Charlo. The rematch will go down December 21st. I said this a few days ago that a lot of fights have been announced for the end of the year, which is strange. December used to be a quiet time for boxing, not anymore. There is no breaks in boxing anymore. Boxing used to have a break in the summer. Like July, it used to stop and then start again September. Boxing literally is now literally constantly 365 days a year. There's fights going on every day in some part of the world, which is incredible. Danny Jacobs will fight Chavez Jr. December 20th. I still don't know how this fight's actually happening. I mean, I still don't know how you can run away from drug testing, VADA drug testing, refuse to get tested, and all of a sudden you're in a big fight against Danny Jacobs. Boxing. Scott Quigg, unfortunately, won't be on the AJ Ruiz bill. He was supposed to fight Jonah Carroll. It's a big fight for Scott Quigg. He's been injured. I think it's a bicep injury. I don't know if Jonah Carroll has been removed from the card as well, or if they're trying to find him a late replacement. If you're Jonah Carroll, you want to be on that card, right? Biggest card of the year. Or biggest, is it? I guess it is probably. You want to be on that card though, so I wonder if they're going to try and find a replacement. If not, we are hearing that Dillian White or Kell Brook could still go on there. Just because this fight has now been removed and they obviously need to replace it with something or someone. Don't mean those two will be in any decent fights, but just get the name value on the card. Espinoza, I just mentioned about fight cards happening every day, 365 days a year. Espinoza, Stephen Espinoza, I don't even know what his position is with Showtime, but obviously he's the boxing man over there. He said there's too much boxing on TV. Interesting. He has a point, right? He has a point. It still should be quality over quantity. I am starting to think that it's a quantity over quality thing. UFC struggled with this as well. UFC were doing event after event after event. It just waters down the events a little bit. And I feel with boxing, it's happening just because there's so many people involved now, so many different TV companies, so many different networks, so many different promoters. There are shows everywhere. Obviously, for example, if you look at what's happened in the last 4 days in boxing, 5 days, MTK had a show, right? Which was, I think, streamed by IFL TV. The World Boxing Super Series in Japan. Top Rank had a show with Jamel Herring headlining, right? Defending his WBO Super Featherweight title. And then you had the show in that DAZN put on at the Staples Center. A lot of boxing to kind of watch and kind of get interested in. And I do think he might be right. I think people have criticized him, but I think people, if they think about it, you do want quality over quantity. And I do think now we are getting more quantity over quality. Even though we've had a good few fights of the years recently, I think the whole year for boxing hasn't been that great. Usyk has finally talked about Chisora. I remember it's been Chisora talking about Usyk, David Haye talking about Usyk, Eddie Hearn talking about Usyk. Usyk and his manager said, yep, very interested in the Chisora fight. But what they've said, which is a bit different from what Chisora, David Haye and Eddie Hearn have said, is that they will fight Chisora before they fight for a world title. So they're talking about fighting Chisora January, February. Remember, both of them had pretty easy fights recently, so they can go again February. So they're saying that Usyk will fight him and then fight for the world title, and not the way in which David Haye or Chisora or Eddie Hearn want it. So we'll see what happens there. This next bit of news is pretty interesting. And as an AJ fan, I don't really like it, but I do respect the honesty. Adam Smith, in an interview with IFL TV, I think it was Umar that done the interview, said that in conversations he's had with AJ has said even if he loses to Andy Ruiz Jr., he still will continue. So he'll fight on for another 5 or 10 years. Again, I respect the honesty, but I don't even want AJ to have that even in his head. I mean, I don't even want that. Like, remove it. I mean, start to speak to a psychologist or something. I don't even want you to think of the fact that you could lose. Please remove it from your head, AJ. Again, respect the honesty. And I'm guessing Adam Smith wasn't really supposed to say that. But he did, and he revealed it, that AJ said if he loses, he will continue fighting. Fuck's sake. Nicola Adams has retired from boxing. Considered the golden girl of British boxing. She really was. Amazing amateur career. Looking at 2 times Olympic gold medalist, a world championship gold medalist, plus a couple of silvers in there as well. European champ, Commonwealth champ, loads of stuff, right? A pioneer for, not necessarily a pioneer for British boxing, because there certainly were British boxers before her, but in terms of sort of crossing over to the casuals and to kind of a bigger market, a kind of wider market, I think she kind of was the face of that. Especially after the 2012 Olympic Games. She did become world champion as well, but that was an upgraded belt, so still world champion, right? Let's not take that away from her. But she has retired because she said due to advice about her eyesight or something. But nonetheless, fantastic in terms of what she achieved, especially as an amateur. Maybe not so much as a pro. She probably should have turned pro after the 2012 Games. But yeah, she carried on. And decent career nonetheless, right? A fight that's going to be announced this week, it looks like, is Marco Huck versus Joyce for the European heavyweight title. Huck's done, isn't he? I don't even understand how Huck is in that position, to be honest with you. But yeah, Huck versus Joyce. It will go to purse bids, I think. If it can't be agreed this week, surely Frank Warren should win that. If not, Joyce is travelling. Is Huck still with the Sauerlands? I don't know. I think he was before. A few quick announcements in terms of fighters coming out of retirement. Fighters that have been retired for a long, long time coming out of retirement. Kermit Cintron, I don't know if you guys remember him. Done some things at 147 and 154. He's back. He returned November 23rd at 168 pounds. And Peter Manfredo from the Contender Series. Had a decent little run as a pro as well. Fought Joe Calzaghe as well. Must have made some money. He's returning in December. What's going on? We'll end on these couple of stories. Jorge Masvidal, I don't know if you guys follow MMA, but he won the BMF belt over Nate Diaz last weekend. He wants to fight Canelo He's called out Canelo. Obviously, there's been this crossover before with McGregor and Mayweather. I just don't think this is going to happen, if I'm honest with you. Absolutely no chance, if I'm honest with you. It ain't happening. Canelo has spoken about 160, though, saying it might be too tough for him to come back down to 160. So it looks like Canelo's new home, I think, will be 168. Some good fights from at 168. And let's be honest, everyone at 160 will go to 168. So all the guys who are supposed to fight at 160, so Demetrius Andrade will go 168. GGD will go 168. If Canelo goes 175, they'll probably fucking follow him there anyway. So Canelo literally can do any weight class he wants right now. Catch weights, overweights, fucking rehydration clauses, anything he wants, he can do. We'll end on this one. Tyson Fury, MMA. I don't think there's anything in it. He did do an interview, I think with Sky Sports when he was at the NFL at Wembley recently, saying he's thought about doing it, that he wants to do some training in it, and that Conor McGregor could reach out and help him. He's now been doing some stuff with Darren Till. I'm sure you guys have seen it over social media. I don't think he will cross over, if I'm honest with you. No need to, right? He seems to have got a decent WWE career going. A few fights left in boxing. I think he'll make personally a lot of money doing anything else other than fighting when he does call it quits. So I can't see him going over to UFC. I mean, nah, he'll get destroyed. He would get destroyed. They'll simply just pick him up and throw him to the ground and fuck him up. So Tyson Fury, stay away from the MMA world. Stick to boxing, stick to WWE, stick to making millions. And that's me. Peace, people.